Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll get an update on the state of Arizona's water infrastructure, and we'll learn about the effectiveness of dual language programs in state schools. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simon. Senator Jeff Flake today threw his support behind Marco Rubio in the Republican race for president. Flake said Rubio has, quote, the ideas, the principles, and the toughness necessary to bring reform to Washington. Flake joins former Arizona Senator Jon Kyl and Arizona Congressman Matt Salmon in backing Rubio. It happened in Flint, Michigan. Could it happen here? Could Arizona be at risk of a water crisis due to aging pipes and other infrastructure? Joining us now to talk about the state of Arizona's waterworks is Joe Geisel, president of the National Association of Water Companies and CEO of water provider EPCOR Water USA. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. What is the state of Arizona's water infrastructure?
Well, I think the state of Arizona's water infrastructure resembles to a great degree that of the nation. The nation's infrastructure was built over the last 300 years. Various states are younger or older, as the case may be, and the national infrastructure condition is of great concern. Society of Engineers recently published that over the next 10 years, $271 billion must be spent on refurbishing and rehabbing and improving the nation's water and wastewater infrastructure. Arizona alone is approaching $10 billion over that time period just to replace their infrastructure. So we're in various stages. Arizona, as a younger state, is probably in a better condition overall with the materials that they've been using, not as much lead, which has been in the news a lot lately. But nonetheless, we're in this refurbishment cycle, which really needs to be looked at.
As far as refurbishment, what kind of work needs to be done?
Well, I think there's a number of different areas that have to be looked like. The first one is our infrastructure in the ground that delivers the water. In Arizona, in our company in Arizona, we average about 10% water losses just through the age of our infrastructure and pipes. So when you think of 10% losses, that's quite a bit. Nationally, the average is north of 20%. So when you think of the amount of water that's just lost through pipes and infrastructure in the ground before it even gets to a customer, that's a huge amount of water that's being wasted.
How is that water lost? Just simply leaking? Is it evaporating? What's going on?
Leaking, main breaks, pipe breaks. Polypavilion in California hit the news the other year when they had a huge main break and flooded it. So those are the kind of things that aging infrastructure really starts to look at, and that's where a lot of the water is lost.
And as far as the refurbishment, replacing pipes, these sorts of things, you mentioned Arizona, $10 billion over the next decade. Does that translate to increased water rates?
It certainly will, and you need to reinvest in your infrastructure to make that safe. For example, our company here in Arizona, we'll probably spend about between $250 and $500 million over the next 5 to 10 years just refurbishing our districts on what has to be done. A lot of this stuff has been built a number of years ago, and it will impact rates, unfortunately. When you deal with private water companies such as ourselves, a lot of the infrastructure has been contributed. So customers haven't paid for that along the way, and some of our rates in our jurisdictions are very, very low given that. As we look to rebuild that infrastructure, that'll have to be paid for, and that will obviously have an impact on rates.
And I would imagine that capital projects have not really been the first funding priority, have they?
They certainly have not. And you get into looking at new technologies for treatment. People take what they can't see for granted. It's underground, it's there, it's delivered. And so people look for other types of resource, treatment types, new technologies in that regard, to really try to improve your performance, but the capital in the ground is the one that's at the greatest risk.
And treatment and distribution, those really the rate revenues have focused on those heretofore. You're saying that's going to have to change?
That's correct. Another part that we haven't really started to address too is I've talked about pipes in the ground, but groundwater in Arizona is a very big source of supply. Almost 50% of our resources for this state comes from groundwater. When you have built wells back in the 1940s and 1950s, they are well beyond their extended life. And in our jurisdictions where we service, we have a number of them that have to be rebuilt. Each well rebuild is anywhere from $4 to $5 million for a very major construction project, and that is a lot of money on a resource that's been taken for granted in terms of just the pumping in the wells and the treatment thereof. So a lot of infrastructure.
Are there some areas of Arizona that might be more at risk than others?
In terms of the
Aging pipes, infrastructure, the whole 9 yards.
yeah, I think some of the newer areas that we see, speak specifically for our company, we have an agri-free district in the West Valley, very new infrastructure, very good shape. And then we have other older jurisdictions like the Sun City West, which were built a number of years ago. We have a major capital program going on right there to rebuild their infrastructure.
So I started by mentioning Flint, and I'm sure that Flint is, it's a topic du jour.
Yes.
Could something like that happen here?
Well, I think some of the things you have to look at what really happened in Flint. And Flint changed their water source. They went from a treated water source from the city of Detroit to taking it out of the river, a river that had a very corrosive composition. You put that together with aging infrastructure and the quality of the infrastructure. A lot of lead pipe was still in Flint, Michigan. And what happened with the corrosive nature of the new source water, that ate away all of the buildup that was protecting people from the lead pipe. So could it happen here in Arizona? First off, I don't think you'd see a wholesale change of resources for our systems here, certainly not our own. Secondly, the quality of that resource would be, I think, a lot better. Our major surface water source is, CAP from the Colorado. We have the Salt and Verde rivers. So again, very good quality surface resources. And then our groundwater is quite good. We do have issues of arsenic and some of the emissions of the old Motorola, which are governed by EPA regulation to take out those contaminants, are there. But I think for the most part, an issue around Flint here in Arizona is pretty remote. For example, our service territories, we have no lead pipe. So there is nothing for it to bring forward, if you want to call that, through more corrosive. But again, I think it's very remote.
And real quickly, something that you said for being a younger community, as you mentioned
That's
beforehand.
correct.
Real quickly, water management technologies, is that world changing?
There's a lot of new technologies for treatment. Some of our facilities here are membrane types of facilities, so we do have some very high-end treatment types, but the tried and true methods of a lot of our plants are still very much in service around the country and internationally as well. So I don't think there's a lot to be said. The lift on the new technologies in the plant processes and treatment, that is not as great as one would think.
Yeah, so basically the work needs to get done, and don't be surprised if you're going to have to pay for it.
Well, that's true, but you have to remember there's ways to mitigate that in terms of timelines, how we invest it. If we can consolidate into larger jurisdictions and districts, that mitigates the impact on our ratepayers as well.
Interesting. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Education looks at how in classrooms across the state, children as young as 4 are are learning to read and write in Mandarin, Spanish, even Navajo. The students are enrolled in dual language programs, and as producer Elisa Adams found out, these programs have parents, students, and school districts excited about learning multiple languages.
Counting by tens in any language is a big accomplishment for most 5-year-olds. These kindergartners can do it in English and in Spanish.
It is amazing when the kids come in. A lot of people feel it's difficult, but it's not. Within a month, you can see such a huge progress that the kids are doing and speaking and having those conversations with the peers as well.
In this classroom at Kyrene de los Lagos Elementary School, the kids only speak, read, and sing in Spanish for the first half of the day.
What does it sound?
Then they move next door and learn in English for the second half.
In our program, we have the languages separate in different rooms so that the students have the understanding that this is the Spanish environment, so this is where you're encouraged to use the language. And then in their English classroom, that's where their English vocabulary and language happens.
Dual language programs are immersive. There's no going back and forth like you might have with an ELL or English Language Learner program. And that means Maria Rivera has to be creative sometimes.
At the beginning of the year, it is when, especially in kindergarten, when they come in and they have no idea one word in Spanish. So that's a challenge. It's really being up there and doing your own little puppet show for them just so that they capture the language as well. So being creative and exposing them to the language so that they can actually understand but also enjoy the language.
In this dual language program, the students must be proficient in English in order to learn the second language, Spanish. This is also different from an ELL program where the goal is to become more proficient in English and not necessarily maintain the native language. Starting young at 4, 5, and 6 years old is key to bilingual success for these kids.
The research has shown that when a second language is learned at a very young age, that the second language is stored in the same area of the brain as the primary language.
Dr. Ana Gomez del Castillo, the principal at Kyrene de los Lagos, actually helped launch the dual language program in the Kyrene School District 6 years ago at a different elementary school. In that school, enrollment was shrinking until they started dual language.
Enrollment started to increase, and we're seeing the same thing happening here as well. There's just a draw for this program.
In fact, there's a waiting list for the program at one Kyrene school, and the district is expanding the program. In a market where public schools compete against charter and private schools to attract students, it seems dual language is a winner.
We were hoping that it would encourage my older son to speak French, and since French and Spanish are so close together, and we didn't want to pay for the French school, and this was free, and it was only a couple miles from the house, I said, let's do it.
Rita Carlier's 5-year-old son is learning his shapes in Spanish in Miss Rivera's class. His mother says she sees progress in more than just language development.
When you're thinking 2 different languages at the same time, you have more problem-solving skills, so it's actually a real benefit in a lot of other aspects of your life.
And, says Dr. Gomez del Castillo, research shows that kids in dual language programs are better at multitasking and focusing. The test scores of the students in Kyrene's program are proving it.
They show right now that based on the Arizona Merit Assessment that was given last year, that they outperformed their grade level peers.
There are challenges with dual language programs. Maria Rivera says teaching with an English language partner requires lots of time.
The lessons, the planning, the assessments, making sure that your kiddos are making progress along the way.
And Dr. Gomez del Castillo says recruiting qualified teachers takes some extra work. But in the end, they agree. Teaching these kids to communicate in 2 languages is much better than 1.
Next year, the Kyrene School District will open up its first dual language classroom at the middle school level. Here now with more on dual language programs is Jana Miller. She's Associate Superintendent of the Cave Creek School District, and Aiden Fleming, Deputy Associate Superintendent at the Arizona Department of Education. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us. As far, we saw the difference now between ELL kind of programs, but as far as like English immersion, bilingual programs, where do dual language programs fit in?
Well, in our school district in 2003, we started our immersion program, and it's actually not dual language. It is a one-way immersion because our students are English speakers, and we do not have the target language students in the classrooms. And so we have a 50-50 model, and half the day our students in our Spanish immersion program learn math and science in Spanish, and the other half the day they learn in English. And so they switch during the day at noon, and they go into the other classroom. And so we've had the program going since 2003, and those students are now seniors in high school and graduating from high school. And so some of the concerns you know, that I hear about middle school, those are concerns that we've had about planning and having a good program K through 12.
What are some of the concerns regarding dual language programs?
I think funding is still an issue. It's local still, so the state hasn't really got involved over the years. But like Janice said, it's funding, making sure that there's data provided. Those are one or two of the issues going on, but the programs themselves are thriving, and they're really making the state take notice on how well they're performing, and we have for the past few years.
And as far as the benefits, the impact just simply on learning content, I would imagine it would be somewhat substantive, wouldn't it? Be tangible?
Absolutely. It's really, it can be condensed into one word, is access. What you're really getting with the dual language or the 50-50 model is access, and students getting opportunities, and the content switching from 4 hours of math in Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, and then going to an English model. You know, what great exposure for the students. Is there
a threat or a concern that with all this emphasis on dual language, that kids maybe not learning as much as they would if they're English, you know, American kids learn in English, or even Spanish, Mexican kids learn in Spanish, you know, the idea that maybe you're leaving some behind or they're not learning as quickly as they otherwise would?
That's a great point, and that's a huge concern for a lot of parents who are not accustomed to the model. And actually, we would consider that our students in first and second grade initially, because they are at such a high learning curve of this target language, the second language, whether it's Mandarin or Spanish, that they would have a little bit of a gap in some of their content, and they don't. It's amazing. They keep up with their peers, and as was stated in the earlier segment, on the standardized tests, the students are doing better than their students who are in the non-immersion classrooms.
And so again, Hispanic kids go and they get half the day taught in English, but they also get half the day or a certain number of hours taught in Spanish?
Correct, yeah. If you're talking about this 50-50 program, yeah, they would have half the day in English, half the day in Spanish.
And I mean, everything is taught there. Everything
Absolutely.
From, you know, I need to go to use the bathroom to I can answer that question on the chalkboard.
And that's the amazing part about it is, yes, it's subject matter, core subject matter that they are tested on in AZ Merit and our state standardized tests being taught in another language. And what Jana was saying is exactly that on. In Utah, of course, as the state, we're concerned about those test scores and want to make sure that districts are using these programs and they're successful. But we've seen examples across the country of not just in Arizona about the test scores going up, but we've seen this across the country in Utah and Connecticut and other states.
I know there's a challenge finding qualified teachers just in general. Qualified teachers that can speak Mandarin, that are bilingual in any way, shape, or form, that's got to be a challenge too.
It is a challenge, and in our school district, we just started Mandarin Chinese. This is our first year for first grade, and we also have a flex program, and so that is where students who are not in the immersion program receive the target language, so in this case, Chinese, 2 times a week. And we actually bring our teachers over from China. We support them. We have a language director in our district, and she goes to China. In fact, she's leaving Wednesday, and she will go and interview teachers, and we bring them back to our school district. And we currently, I believe, have 6 or 7 teachers from China, and we also bring teachers from Spain.
Interesting. All right, so we've got this program in place, and we saw the awfully young kids over there, and I'm hearing as young as 4. Is there? I mean, is that a? It seems like that's awfully young.
Well, the earlier the better is kind of what the research has always stated. I guess classically how we would always see language and how the United States has adopted it is in high school you get a dabbling of 1 or 2 years maybe 3 or 4 if you really get into it. But the research has really flipped on that. It's the earlier the better, the more you can immerse, it's the most direct way to do it. The 50-50 model fits in perfectly with that idea, and some brave school districts in this state have come first and said, you know what, we're going to take the lead on this, and they've been very successful.
And as far as you mentioned the results, closing that achievement gap, which we hear a lot about with Latino students and white students and the whole rainbow there, possible evidence of it happening?
Well, we believe it is one avenue for closing that gap. In our school district, we have high test scores with our students, and all school districts are looking to increase the growth. And so this is one avenue for students who already have high test scores. They're doing even better. But also with the students who are in different demographics who may not be doing as well, it is one way to close that gap. This is one practice that's good for all kids. It's not just for one group of children. When you were talking about the having the Spanish-speaking students in the classroom, well, we don't have that in our school district, and we certainly don't have the Chinese-speaking students. Yeah. So it is definitely a one-way immersion program.
And last question, as far as we call closing the achievement gap, kind of closes a cultural gap too, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. In the legislature's actually been really supportive over this the past few years. When Jenna and we had a stakeholder group is how it started, and they came to the department and said, these are the things we're struggling with. We need help on the state board rules with getting teachers from out of the country. So we listened and we started changing some rules, and they go, you know, it'd be great to have a pilot program. And we thought the same thing. We'd have some flack, but we didn't. We had great support, and that's one of the selling points is economic, national security, and culture, absolutely narrowing that culture gap.
Well, it sounds like it's certainly working. Congratulations on the success, and thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Art Beat looks at one of Phoenix's hidden treasures, the Shemer Art Center, which recently celebrated its 30th anniversary. Producer Shauna Fisher and photographer Miguel Valverde take us on a tour.
The Shemer Art Center has a colorful history.
Thank you both.
Built in 1919, it was the first home in the Arcadia area and was owned by a worker for the Arcadia Water Company. In 1927, the Cerf family, who owned the Pennzoil Company, bought the Spanish Mission-style home as a vacation retreat. Then, in 1984, the home was purchased by Martha Shemer.
She purchased the home, and I think probably at a point in her life when she wanted to leave some kind of legacy as well. She and Terry Goddard worked out a donation of this home to the city, and it was specifically to be an arts education facility.
Today, 4 of the home's original bedrooms serve as gallery space. You can see the history of the home as you walk through it, original light fixtures, and the bell system used to call upon the home's waitstaff. In the lobby sits an old stone fireplace inscribed with the Latin phrase, "Art is long, life is short," which seems a bit serendipitous now. In addition to the monthly exhibitions, one of the biggest offerings is the art classes.
Well, we teach all of the visual arts, and that includes painting and drawing and printmaking. And when we talk about painting, we're talking about a lot of different media too, like oil and pastel and watercolor. We teach sculpture, we teach ceramic, we teach jewelry making.
The home's garage was converted into a studio space. The students spend 6 to 8 weeks in a class. The center is also known for its beautiful sculptures that are placed all over the property. Each one is available for sale, and there are also several patios to enjoy.
To me, I actually love just going out over the noon hour and taking my lunch break, sitting out on the patio and viewing the iconic Camelback Mountain.
Keeping the doors open to this point of pride takes tremendous support from the public. Board Director Sandra Wyman says without places like the Shemer, a community loses a valuable asset.
The arts are what make life worth living. They enhance everyone's heart. They put you in harmony with your own life. And I really think that Arizona needs to be able to come here to the Shemer and to explore our different rooms and our grounds and make themselves at home.
For more information on the Shemer, check out their website at shemerartcenter.org. Tuesday on Arizona Horizon, we'll get an overview of the heroin problem in Arizona with the director of the State Department of Health Services, and we'll hear about the latest efforts to fight tax filing fraud. That's on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Helios Education Foundation is proud to underwrite Arizona Education, a 12-month series highlighting the issues affecting college and career readiness of our students. Through a decade of strategic partnerships, Helios is working to change lives and strengthen communities through education.